What up, though? It's your man Dale, back with another video. This one, it may upset some of you. Sometimes the truth hurts, but for others, it's going to be a light bulb moment. Personally, I'm not concerned which side of the fence you're on. I'm just a guy throwing out seeds here on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're seeing this. You got people fighting over which candidate won and all of this, but the people in the know benefit regardless of who won the White House. These people understand certain techniques that the masses are unaware of, don't know how to do, or simply fear because they have never taken the time to understand how this capitalist society operates. In this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain. Let's say you're an electrician, plumber, or some other tradesman, and you earn $40 an hour, and you work 40 hours a week. So every week before taxes, you earn $1,600, right? Okay, I know you know that the reason you have a job isn't because the employer likes you, but because they realize that you have a skill that they can mark up and sell to someone at a higher price than what they pay you. So in essence, your employer is buying your time at wholesale price and selling it to a customer at a retail price. And the difference between those two prices is their profit. So if an employee is paid $1,600 an hour, the employer is charging the customer, let's just say $3,200. So that $1,600 difference represents the employer's profit. I know the employer has some expenses because they have employees, but the point here is there's a profit being made by the employer that is supplying the job. The employer is able to collect that $1,600 a week because they know how to market the employee's skills better than the employee does. The employee also has to be compensated for taking on the financial risk of running a business. I don't know about you, but when I was working a job, I never saw the owner on the job site. Yeah, he was earning something off of every hour that I exchanged on that site. He's rich. And one thing rich people understand is that it's not wise to trade your time for money. You'll understand why later. And listen to this. On that job site, I wasn't the only person. There were other people that were doing the same type of job that I was, 10, 20, or even 30 people. You might be wondering, what does that mean? It means that the employer was making $1,600 every week from our labor. Let's just say that the employer employed 10 workers. So if you add the pay of the other 10 workers that were working alongside me, the employer is earning 11 times $1,600 or $17,600 a week, while he's sitting on a beach in the Bahamas sipping a pina colada or fishing off the coast of Key West, Florida. Now, this doesn't sound fair, does it? Well, you know what? I got news for you. It is fair. It's what me and all of the other people signed up for. It's what we agreed to. And probably the only reason most of us agreed to it was because we believed that was just the way that it was. Everyone in their family and all of their friends were doing the same thing. So no one ever thought to question why things were the way that they were. Instead, they just hated the person that they thought was doing it to them, never understanding that they had the power and no one had any chains on them. The only change that existed were the chains on their minds. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here to open your eyes and offer some insight. Remember I said in the previous video, ignorance is the costliest thing that we all pay for? What if I was to tell you that you could flip the tables, that you could be the employer, that there was an opportunity for you to be the head and not the tail, that you could be the one fishing off the coast of Key West, or at least living life on your own terms? I can already hear people right now making excuses. I don't have any money. I don't know about that business stuff. What if I fail? It's time to break those chains for your mind. Keep watching and I'll show you that money is never an issue. And for those of you that say, I don't know about that stuff, everything that you know right now, there was a time that you didn't know it. And in today's information age, not knowing is no longer an excuse. You can ask Siri, Alexis, or even ChatGPT, and they can give you the answer for whatever question you have. When I was younger and I wanted to know something, I had to leave my house, walk to the library in 8 feet of snow just to search for the information in something called an encyclopedia. Now you can find anything on your cell phone, so there's no excuses. And fearing failing is how we learn. Does a baby stand up and start walking? No, they fall several times before they get it. And those of you that know how to ride a bike, did you just hop on and start riding like Lance Armstrong? No, you failed. Some of us more than others. Falling comes first. That's just the way that the creator set things up. Now think about it. You can hop on any bike and ride it without thinking about it. You can walk without the thought of falling. The important thing is that when you're learning, surround yourself with people that can help you get back up and encourage you to try again when you fail. Just like parents that keep encouraging their baby to get back up after they fall. So it's important important to surround yourself with people that are living the life that you want, because you'll never be criticized by someone doing better than you. Let me get back on subject. Have you ever gotten a 0% interest loan? Like a loan from the bank and they don't charge you any interest? Or better yet, do you know of anyone that has gotten a 0% interest loan? Probably not, right? Dale, you just made that up, didn't you? My people perish because of lack of knowledge. I know and have personally helped several people get 0 interest loans. And listen to this. The banks want you to be an employer so badly that they'll give you $25, $50, all the way up to $250,000 in 0 interest loans to serve as working capital for your business. Now you might be thinking, I don't even have a business. Remember, no excuses, because that's no problem. In Michigan, it only costs $50 to start a business. And if you started it today, the banks will be ready to give you the money tomorrow. Sounds too good to be true, does it? Well, it isn't. Remember, I said ignorance was costing you. The 0% is an introductory rate and can be good for as long as 18 months. Now, this loan isn't the form that you might think it is. It's in the form of what's called business credit cards. I can hear the air being sucked out of the room right now. You're probably like, oh, credit cards. I was told to stay away from credit cards. Let me ask you, when you were 3 or 4, did your parents let you use fire to cook? Probably not, right? Why do you think that is? Because you didn't understand how it worked, right? You didn't understand that the same fire that could be used to cook a meal or heat a home could also be used to burn yourself or even burn a house down if not used properly. The problem with credit and debt is people have been given it. They're like that 3 or 4-year-old and they're using it to burn their financial house down. When investing in real estate, I use credit card to purchase the property, the materials, and pay the contractors for fixing the house up. I pay the contractors by check, and there are 2 companies that I use to pay them, Melio and Plastique. These companies allow me to connect my business credit card to their platform. They'll take the money off of my credit card, convert it into a check, and send it to my contractor. They do charge a small fee though. I mean, it's minimal, like 3.5%, but that's better than that 30% cash advance charge that the credit card company charge you. I helped someone get business credit cards for their car flipping business. They went to the auction, bought several cars, and their total was a little over $30,000. But let's just say it was $30,000 flat. What do you think his monthly payment will be? Remember, it's a 0% interest business credit card. What? Probably about $100, $500, $1,000. His payment will only be $300 a month. When calculating the monthly payment on a 0% interest card, just multiply the balance by 1%. So in this case, it will be $30,000 times 1% or $300. And how much of that do you think goes towards the principal? It's 0% interest, all of it. So next month, his balance will be $300 lower, and his payment will also be lower because it's being calculated on a smaller balance. Even if it takes him 10 months, which it shouldn't, to sell all of those cars, no problem, because that 0% interest on that car is good for 18 months. Now let's get back to the first example, and let's use the information that we have now. Remember, the employer pays out $1,600 a week, right? What is one option for what you know now that the employer could use to make money for this payroll? It'll eventually come from the customer, but that's sometime in the future. It could be as long as 90 days. Let's just say it does take 90 days. Where could he get that money to help make payroll in the meantime? He could simply connect his business credit cards to Melio or Plastique and have them send a check to his employees. The credit card bill is due monthly or every 4 weeks. And in that time, each employee would have received 4 checks, right? Which totals $6,400. So what would that $6,400 cost the employer? Remember, 1% times $6,400. So $64. The employer will generate $6,400 from the employee's labor over the course of that month, and it only cost him $64. And remember, he employs 10 more people. So those other 10 employees bring in an additional $6,400 each. So he generates an additional $64,000 for a total of $70,400. So over the course of those 90 days or 3 months, while he's waiting to receive his pay from his customer, if he makes a minimum payment, it will be a payment of $704 the first month, a little over $1,400 the second month, and $2,100 the third month. So the employer shells out a total of $4,196. But it really doesn't even cost him that, because those monthly payments goes directly towards the principal. So in essence, it doesn't cost him anything. He's generating money based on his knowledge, not on his labor. And in 90 days, when the employer receives his pay from the customer, what do you think he'll do with the money? Yep, that's right. He pays off the credit card and pockets the difference, which in this example happens to be a little over $200,000. After a few times of borrowing and paying off, what do you think the employer should do next? I'll give you a hint. Ask for a credit limit increase on all those credit cards. And guess what? They're going to give it to you. Why wouldn't they? They're in the business of loaning money, and you've demonstrated that you're a good credit risk by repaying large balances multiple times. Now fast forward. Once you get this additional money, what are you going to do with it? Hopefully you said do what the rich do. Use the money to buy more assets, which will produce more money for you. The assets that you're going to buy are more employees. These new assets will allow you to take on more jobs and grow your wealth even faster. See, the informed, they make their money off the uninformed. Those that know capitalize the ignorance of the masses. So now that you know, what are you going to do with this information? Because contrary to popular belief, knowledge isn't power. It's only potential power. Because if you aren't going to apply what you learn, you might as well not even know it, because it's not going to help you. Now the ball's in your court. I did my part. I sowed the seed. Now it's up to you to determine if it's going to take root and grow.